Game number 2 between WonnaPlay from Client Druids and Marcel. This time, apparently StarCraft did juke me. I just didn't notice. They just changed colors.
That naughty player.
Exactly.
This is what happens when you let players manage things by themselves.
Yeah, that's absolutely horrible. I'm never gonna cast these two again. Oh my god.
Don't let them do it. Anyway, would you like to do the honors of introducing them?
Sure. So, the player being down a game, the red Zerg Marcel. His map of choice, of course, was Whirlwind, and he's spawning at the top right location. Cross map, we do have the blue Protoss player WonnaPlay, who displayed some very sophisticated and solid, straightforward play in game number 1. He's at the bottom left.
So, currently what we saw in game 1 was Wanna was very effective with some 4-gate pressure. It was off of 2 bases with a mothership core, just threatened the aggression, and that forced the Zerg to pump way too many units, far too few drones, and never really got ahead. And that's the problem. If you, as a Zerg player, even if you're on 3 bases, unless you're at 70 plus drones, you just don't have the economy to last late game. And then Wanna had a really nice easy move across the map, and ultimately Marcel's going to have to come with something a lot better this game if he's wanting to take a game off the Druids Protoss.
Yep. So we do have a hatch first going down. Now this is actually a good thing in this circumstance for Marcel, because the Protoss, well, he's going for a Nexus first with no gateway and no forge. Wow. Okay. So definitely a good thing for the Zerg.
Yeah, this is a very good thing for Marcel, but the downside is that you are always at risk. I'd say going hatch first to Zerg is a fine thing to do in a best of whatever series, but in just a best of one, never ever do it, because you will get cannon rushed 50% of the time.
Yeah, exactly. And on a map such as large as this one is, you just don't scout if it's a gateway or a forge opening in time to prepare for that. And on smaller maps, even if the Protoss opens up with a gateway, he can just cut 1 or 2 probes, build a forge really fast, so that he can cannon your natural. And still, like, his natural will be delayed, of course, but he will delay you by such a large margin. And you can't get into his main if there is a ramp, because he will just block it. So this probe, scouting for gases, because it knows that the pool is up, but it will be killed before it does so.
Now, I kind of feel like Marcel may be going for a 2-base play. I think it would be really nice. The only thing putting me off that is there's not a gas yet. If there was a gas now, I'd be like, definitely 2-base play. But I quite like, he's already committed quite a few lings. He's got 4 out, which is 2 more than you need early on, to be honest. And if he had pumped more, I think it could have been really nice. But he is going to go for that 3rd, which is very late.
It is very late. And considering
I say very late. I mean, like 20 seconds.
It's late by like, almost a minute actually. And since he did not take any gases, this delays his tech also. So, wait a minute. This Zergling came in and saw that there's a huge gap in the wall. Will Marcel take an advantage of this? No.
He'd be bold to, because ultimately that wall off could get closed down. Sending the Overlord in as well, trying to get a quick look. We do have the Stargate coming down, but it's in the main. This is a really hard position to scout to as Zerg, because it's so far away from any dead space, which ultimately means once that Stalker's out, it's going to be nearly impossible to find and actually suicide 2 Overlords in. So this is really nice, and Wanna could catch his opponent off guard. I'm not sure whether it'll be Oracle or Phoenix yet, though.
Yeah, Oracle harassment is, we have, how many queens do we have out? 3 queens. The 3rd one has not even started to move towards the 3rd. So, Oracle harassment. Not saying that it would be unsuccessful, just not as successful as one would hope. The bases are not connected with creep though, so he could swing into the main base and do some damage. But no, it is going to be Phoenixes. I wonder how many Phoenixes he will produce. And meanwhile, the Stalker is just forcing out some units, some lings at the third base. Even a Spine Crawler will be going down. So a nice job there by WonnaPlay. He's really playing this aggressive style of Protoss, which I really like, which we've seen in the beginnings of the Wings of Liberty, where Protoss took an advantage of the lack of Zerg scouting. But now these Zerglings are going to drive the Stalker away.
No speed though, so speed literally just getting started as I said. That means the Stalker will get away safely. I also much prefer Phoenix over Oracles, and I'm going to explain that a bit more. It's ultimately just because Oracles can potentially do a huge amount of damage, but on the flip side, they're a big investment. They're not that useful over harassment, and whereas Phoenix, you can keep map control, you can keep poking in, and you can keep poking out. Mutalisks are, of course, a very popular playstyle at the moment with Zerg. Helps you deal with those should they come out. And you've straight away got your transition still into Skytoss late game. So I think that's really, really nice. It's really solid. And obviously they're so much more mobile as well, which is always good.
Yeah, and I have to say that I'm not at all really surprised with the Phoenix choice, given that we are playing on Whirlwind, you know, which, as you mentioned, Mutaplay is really popular, and especially on this map it's really popular because once the Zerg gets a decent amount of Mutalisks, without Phoenix it's almost impossible to keep a hold on your third base, and you just kind of need that third base versus a Zerg that already is on 3 bases and will have no problems taking a fourth. Speaking of which, WonnaPlay is keeping a good eye on that 4th base here.
Yeah, well, straight away we've got an Overlord coming down at Marcel's base. That's going to die very, very quickly. And the Queen going to get lifted. A Spore Caller is started, though, but with so many Phoenix, that is going to go down exceptionally fast. And a lot of drones are going to get killed here.
Yep, 1 Queen goes down. That Spore Caller is still ways off from being finished. Spire is being put down by the Zerg, but oh my god, these Phoenixes are just doing tons and tons and tons of damage. Well, if he killed these 4 here on the right side, will he notice he can actually supply block the Zerg, preventing him from producing anything for quite a while, as there are no Overlords in production. 13 larvas at his disposal. He's saving those
This is
larvae
really
out,
good.
Yeah, he's doing such a good job with those Phoenixes.
He's also attacking up at the top left, where the 4th base was coming down. There was a proxy pylon there. Such a big warping of Zed. It's going to be forced to cancel. But the other minor thing I wanted to point out that Wanna did was he straight away lifted the drones in the gas. And the reason that's so important is because some Zerg players will forget to switch back.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're seeing actually in the main, is that those 2 gas guys is not mining.
No, there's only 1 drone mining the gas, and now those Phoenixes are swinging around for a second go. Can they lure the Queen away? No, the Hydras are popping out. They could actually... There are only 3 of them, but 3 more are coming. Okay, he could have tried to kill those, but now there's too many of them. Oh, or are there?
No, not at all. This is going to be so on fire to Wanna there. Really exactly what he wants to do. He's also got a whole ton of Zealots pushing in towards the 3rd base. Good damage on the Spine Caller goes down. The Zerglings are going to get annihilated by these Zealots. They do have +1, no upgrades at all for the Lings. The 3rd hat tree getting focused down, and this is going to be nearly impossible to hold, even with those Hydras coming in.
Well, yeah, but I think that WonnaPlay, he's not following this up. The Phoenixes are, you know, had to get out of the fight because they expended all of their energy, so no point keeping them around. And now we have lots of Hydras coming in. Infestation is being put down, as well as the most muscular augments. God damn it, Blizzard, why don't you ever make a good to pronounce name for your upgrades for the Hydras? But meanwhile, if we look at the drone count, the Zerg is actually behind, and Wanna is doing everything he can to keep it that way.
And this is what we saw in Game 1 ultimately, is Wanna never went for a killing blow early. He just went to force units and deny droning. And that's what he's done yet again this game. And I'm more than happy with that.
Yep. And he's transitioning, basically doing the same thing he did in game number 1, just his 3rd is a little bit later than it was there. He's getting the blink, he's continuing his upgrades, and he's getting his Colossi up. Meanwhile, these Phoenix are scouting all over the map, taking map control away from the Zerg. There's this one Overlord pooping creep over the potential 4th or 5th, depending on which one WonnaPlay decides to choose. And his other ground army is still being active out on the map. I really like that. He scouts the 4th going down. So that's
Yep,
that's
he
a
sees
good
it
piece
straight
of
away. There's also an
information.
Overlord there that could get taken out fairly quickly. Natural does have a Spore Caller there, but that is all. And this is where things can get a little bit dangerous, because at the same time we've got a ground army pushing in towards the third yet again. Only a few roaches there to defend it, easily taken out if another wave of Stalkers comes through. But as you correctly pointed out, Bellinor, is that there is a lot of Colossi already racking up, and while there is the +1, it's not going to be enough. The hatchery is going to fall as well, and that is a real catastrophic loss.
It is. If we look at the resources loss tab, the Zerg is not doing that hot. I mean, he just finished building that fourth base, and he has to invest resources into rebuilding the third. The Phoenixes are just, you know, informing the Protoss forces of where the army is, what the upgrades are. I mean, there is nothing that Wanna does not know. He's got a proxy pylon near this fourth base because he saw it coming up. He's got a proxy pylon in the north on the 12 o'clock so that he can hit this base again. He's getting his third base completely safely. There is nothing the Zerg can do to even touch him because he's pinned down. He's contained to defend his four bases. He cannot move out.
It's not even the sense that he can't move out. It's much more the Wanna has 75 probes to 66 drones. He's been ahead in the worker count all game long. That is a big loss. Oh, the Queen is going to go down as well, and there's no spores here. The Hydras are going to get back in time.
Yep, but the Phoenixes are already on the move, hunting for more prey. Oh, Infestors! Nice fungal on those Phoenixes. One Infestor gets lifted up. Do we have another fungal coming in? Oh, yes, he gets it. One more Infestor maybe will die. No. WonnaPlay just reconsiders and gets the hell out of there. But, yeah, he now knows what is out on the field. But look at the huge, huge warp-ins back home. So many Stalkers being warped in. And now we have DTs in the play as well.
Ooh.
Where are they being warped
There's
in?
one warped in just to the south of the fourth base of Marcel. Just this single DT could be enough to really wreak havoc. It's got to sneak past this Spine Caller, though. That's the only problem, my only concern. But with this big warp-in of Zealots as well, the Zealots will tank up a lot of that damage. That Spine Caller is going to fall. And look at how far out of position the Zerg army is.
Yeah, it's on the other side of the Zerg territory. It was taking care of the proxy pylons that were there. Here we go. The DTs go in, the Zods go in. If he kind of like prevents these DTs from dying and gets rid of all the detection, but no, the Infestors come in. Will they save the hatch? I think so.
Yeah, they should easily save that hatch now. That was a nice move, but again, this is ultimately just Wanna keeping his opponent pinned back. It's a soft contain. He's also just softening up this hatch, ready to kill it later, which is more than enough. And ultimately, Marcel, he's trying to get a greater spy. He's trying to go Broodlord Infestor, but look at the army for Wanna. 195 supply to just 134.
And I think that the time before the attack or until the attack is not too far away. Again, sending out the Phoenixes to scout. He's continuing to use those Phoenix to scout out the Zerg movements, which I really like. That's so smart to do and so essential to do. He's preparing to take a fourth base, and I think he might try an attack here in a moment. No, he's going into mass harass mode, producing 2 Warp Prism, getting the Warp Prism speed as well. So he's just going to continue to harass the Zerg to his death.
Yeah, it's okay harassing to the death, but once Broodlord's out, you've got to be a little bit careful. What Wanna needs to do now is not only get out these High Templar that he's looking to, he needs a Fleet Beacon and get Tempest. The reason Broodlord Infestor is now not that potent against Protoss is 100% due to Tempest annihilating Broodlords. Like, just 4 Tempest, I believe. Is it 4 or 5 the one-shots Broodlords? I'm trying to think of the maths now.
I think it's 5 Tempests. You want to get 5 Tempests, I think.
It's something you don't often see because so few Zergs go Broodlord anymore. But I know it really hurts. It looks painful.
Oh, and look at this. We have a Stargate transition. 4 Stargates coming down.
Oh, look at that blink forward. Absolutely perfect. Wanna, he's pulling back. He sees the Broodlords and just like, no. But he sniped off a couple of Infestors, which is more than enough. And he's actually just splitting his army slightly, just to make sure that any fungal growths can't hit as well.
Yep. And finally, Marcel is re-establishing some map control, but that's going to change in a second here. Look at the concave WonnaPlay was able to do in just a second.
The Hive is going down as well. The Hive has had a mass warp in of Zealots. There's nothing that's going to be able to be done here. This is really painful. that hive going down is a big, big loss.
Yeah, beautiful War Prism play. That was just beautifully executed, and the third is under attack by DTs as well, while WonnaPlay is moving towards the fourth, trying to knock that out as well. And this is just beautiful to watch. Look at the Zealots in the main are still there. They're still making contact with the Hydralisk, which means the Hydralisk are dying, of course. And he's still using that War Prism so good.
He is indeed. Now, we do have a couple of Fungal Growths trying to come off here, but the Infestor's getting taken out quite quickly. But this fourth base is dead and gone. There is no way that Zerg army will be able to get back in order to defend it.
Yeah, and once this base falls, I think that Marcel will just pull all of his drones and go for it, because he's so hugely behind. The fourth base for the Protoss is up. He's still staying on a 3-base economy.
Ooh,
there's a lot of Broodlords!
Yeah, Wanna, what are you doing? You don't. Now the Fungal Growths go off, he can't retreat. This is a brilliant engagement for Marcelvk.
Yeah, he's gaining a lot of ground by doing this. And, you know, before those Broodlords are driving Wanna away. He has to retreat from there, but he's already producing Void Rays. I'm not entirely sure if that's the unit he wants out of those Stargates.
But he has no fleet beacon, so he has no other option. If he had a fleet beacon, I'd be Tempest all the way. But Void Rays are the next best option. With Prismatic Alignment, they still do a nice bit of damage, but WonnaPlay, he's gonna have to wait until they get out before he can really do anything. He's got to defend, and just look at how quickly this army's falling.
Yeah, and he needs to keep those Colossi alive as well, because, you know, if he loses those Colossi, there are Hydras that he has to contest with to keep alive his Void Rays. Here we go. Marcel is pushing the Protoss back further and further and further. The army sizes actually are starting to favor the Zerg Broods. There's the blink to pick off some of the Broodlords. Nice move.
That blink was amazing. The Infestors get sniped off by the Void Rays as well. And while there is quite a few Hydras, the Colossi count is still more than high enough to deal with those 3 out there. The Broodlords are the only threat.
Yes, they are. He needs to get rid of those, and you know, the positioning of Marcel is really quite good. And oh, nice blinking, and he's attacking the Hydras, he's attacking the Broodlords. Will he bring them down? I think so. Yes, the Hydras are retreating, escaping the Colossi fire. Time Bomb also forcing them to move away. The Broodlords are falling. What answer does Marcel have to this?
Well, once those Broodlords are gone, there isn't really much of an answer. 57 to 79. There's the GG. And Wanna takes the series 2-0.
Very nice play, very solid play from coming out of WonnaPlay. Really enjoy the